Traveling to Consciousness, exploring spiritual journeys to find answers in uncertainty.
What is up, conscious monkeys? Welcome back to another episode of Traveling to Consciousness. As always, I'm your host, Clayton Cuteri, and in today's podcast, we are talking about Indigo education around meditation. Now, this podcast is one that is actually maybe near and dear to my heart. It's probably something that started me out where I didn't even know I was spiritual at the time. This dates all the way back to college. So I have been doing this over 10 years. I'm going to get all into that because we do this live on IG, and these are just like the special little intros and outros that you guys get for being amazing listeners on the podcast. So in today's podcast, we're going to be talking about meditation. I'm going to go over my history with meditation. I'm going to talk about this crazy change that happened in the last year, my perception of meditation, and how it catapulted me into making over $10,000 per month now, which is crazy to even put into words. But yes, now I'm making over $10,000 a month. And I'm going to get into something crazy about how the way we define and look at meditation is actually harming us in the spirituality community. So with all that being said, I don't want to get too deep into it because I'm going to share this all again with my Instagram audience. So if you feel so inclined, Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern time, I go live on Instagram. You can hear these things live. So if you feel called to it, if you have questions in real time, I can answer them. I'll even give you guys shout outs at this point. I can give you guys shout outs, live, if that's what you want. So Instagram is at Clayton Cuteri. Go check it out there. I've also been starting to post a lot more content, so hopefully you guys will enjoy that. Trying to blend the politics and spirituality, which is a little bit more difficult than I expected, but we're going to make it happen. So with that being said, I appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and hopefully I will see you guys in the Instagram live. So in case you guys don't know, my name's Clayton Cuteri, and in the last year, I've gone from making less than $100 a month to over $10,000 per month. And there are many reasons for this. One of the big reasons for this has been my meditation journey. So as you guys are funneling in here, I want you to get a little bit of background on me, my history with meditation, so you can see how my journey has evolved into where it is. And hopefully I can get you a little bit closer to the truth. So for starters, I have been meditating every single day since college. So we're talking like over 10 years here. Over 10 years for sure. And in the early days, I would meditate kind of whenever I woke up and whenever I went to bed. These were the two key times I would meditate. And for simplicity, when I'm saying meditate for now, I'm talking about sitting still, eyes closed, right? That's what we all talk about or think about when we talk about meditation. The problem is that by doing this, it wasn't getting me anywhere in life. I felt like I had this kind of like pseudo spiritual intellect about me because I would tell people that I meditated 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes at night, felt good about myself. But physical layer and emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually, it didn't feel like it was really moving the needle. And also for historical sakes, the longest that I've ever done just a sitting still, eyes closed meditation was about 3 to 4 hours, which I still can't believe I did that. But all of that changed. The beautiful thing is all of that has changed in the last year. So in the last year is really whenever I've been starting to make these crazy jumps in my life. And what happened in the last year completely blew me away. So like I kind of pointed out, most people think meditation is sitting still, eyes closed, no thoughts, no emotions, nothing, just focusing on nothingness, if you will. But I think there's a better definition for meditation. And that definition is awareness of your focus. So if you are meditating, right, that just means that you're aware of what you're focusing on. And this is very important. This is a very important distinction because what you're focusing on, you will create more of. Whatever you're focusing on, you'll start this snowball effect that'll create a chain reaction that increases those events in your life, increases the likelihood of those events occurring in your life. For example, whenever I told you that I would meditate in the morning and at night, what I realized is I was focusing on less than ideal thoughts, such as fear, anxiety, stress, because I was taught that you meditate when you're feeling those things so that you can become calm and center. And in a weird way, it did work, but it didn't create a chain reaction effect of fixing my life. It worked for a brief period of time, but then everything would just disappear. So where am I going with this? So if we're being aware of where our focus is, it means that in essence, in an ideal state, we are meditating 14 to 16 hours a day. We are aware of where our focus is at every single minute, every single hour of the day in a perfect situation. And I think that this is a better way to guarantee long-term success in our life. I think it is going to be far more beneficial to you. I know it's been beneficial to myself because I went from less than $100 a month to over $10,000 a month by becoming acutely focused on becoming acutely aware of what I was focusing on in every single moment. And I think it has a really powerful transformative effect, because if you're not aware, if you're only aware of your awareness when you're sitting still, eyes closed, feeling like you're zenned out, it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. And furthermore, if you do want to sit, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but if you do want to sit with your eyes closed, with sitting still, eyes closed, I think there is a time for it. But the most accurate time for that is whenever you're feeling good, you're feeling happy, you're feeling energized, you feel like life's going your way, you feel confident. Because by sitting and focusing on that reality, you'll create a chain reaction that will create that reality for you. So let's simplify this, right? If you're focusing on stress, if you're focusing on anxiety, you're meditating on it, you'll create more of it. So the key is to become aware of whenever those emotions, those ideas come up, so you can shift your focus. It's that simple. And this is why I say that it's a 14-hour practice, a 16-hour practice, anytime that you're awake. This is a very powerful practice. To see where your awareness is. What are you focusing on? As another example, in this moment right now, if I'm not focused on you, if I'm not putting my awareness solely on this IG live, it's going to deteriorate. It'll be bad. People won't like it. I won't be able to help you. So in this moment, I'm being completely focused on this IG live to make it the best I possibly can. And where this cascades is once you become aware of your awareness, you will start to separate yourself from your thoughts and your emotions. And I know that sounds weird, but the most powerful thing I think I could ever tell you, and anyone could ever tell you, is you're not your thoughts and you're not your emotions. You experience thoughts, you experience emotions. And emotional intelligence is very important. I should probably do a whole podcast on that. Whole IG live, if you will. But if you start to become aware of whenever you're experiencing emotions or experiencing thoughts, you now have the power to no longer experience them if you do not wish to experience them. And what this will uncover for you is your soul. If you're not thinking, if you have no emotions, if you're not experiencing your emotions, if you're not experiencing your thoughts, the only thing left to experience is your soul and the present moment. Because in this spiritual matrix, if you will, when we talk about becoming connected to everything, we have to become connected to our soul. It's very important. And we can get trapped very easily in becoming connected to our thoughts, becoming connected to our emotions. And so this is where the power of meditation comes in. And when I say meditation, again, I want to echo this because this is very important. Whenever I say meditation, I'm saying the awareness of what you're focused on. So be focused on what you want to create in the world. Or be focused on nothing. Be focused on your soul. Be so focused and immersed in the present moment where you feel simultaneously everything and nothing. And here's one way. Here's a little tidbit I'll give you guys. This is a practice, a daily practice, or a practice you can do right now. It works best if you're outside, but you could pick anything in your room, in your house, anything. And I want you to focus on it so intently that you see every single detail about it. It could be a painting, it could be a wall. Maybe give it something with life. The best example is a tree. I think trees are by far the most powerful thing you can do with this technique, this meditation in air quotes, is to become so focused on the tree, so aware of every little detail, every atom of that tree, that you don't think. There's no thoughts. There's no emotions. There's only you, your soul, and the tree. And this will give you a taste of what it means to be of no mind, of no emotions, because that place is true bliss. And I'm not perfect. I'm working on it. But I'm telling you, this perspective, I have found more joy in my life, more love, more peace, more calmness, more money. And that's a side effect, by the way. I know I used it as a hook to get you guys in here, but that's a side effect of me feeling peaceful, of feeling calm, of enjoying life. Money no longer is a burden. And so money, like all energies, want to be around people who are not stressed by it. Think about it. Your best friend, if you're stressed, how long are they going to put up with you? Not very long. Very quickly they'll leave. But if you're calm, you're centered, you're enjoying life, everyone wants to be a part of it. Money wants to be a part of it. People want to be a part of it. Your family wants to be a part of it. They want to know what's going on here. Let's talk. Tell me. And furthermore, you'll get more out of life. You'll serve your community. You'll serve a higher purpose. Because once you're at peace, you'll want everyone else to feel it. And that's what I'm doing with these lives. That's what I'm doing with my podcast. My podcast for the longest time was trying to figure out how to get here. And mind you, I'm not perfect by this. I wish I could say that I could sit in that pure state of bliss and harmony 14 hours a day, but maybe 5 to 6 hours, I'm probably there. There's probably more. Some days more, definitely. Some days we're probably in the 14 range. Some days less, but it's a practice. You've never done this before. So go easy on yourself. You've never done this before. You've never actively became aware of what you're focusing on in every single moment. So it's like a muscle. You have to train it. And maybe it's only 5 minutes. Maybe it's 5 seconds for the first day. Maybe you go an entire day and you don't even think about it. But practice. It's a practice. It's kind of why they say meditation's a practice. But if you take anything away from this podcast, I want it to be that meditation is the awareness of your focus. And that in an ideal, perfect world, you're able to meditate for 14 hours a day. That should be your aim. Well, and let me rephrase that. That should be your aim if you want to feel calm, you want to feel peaceful, you want to feel connected to your soul. Maybe even if you want to make more money. Because I promise you that will also be a side effect of this, because your soul will guide you. You'll say, hey, I want to create world peace. It's like, well, you need money to create world peace. So let me show you how to get more money so that you can do that. And I think the last thing that I'll end this on is that don't believe me. You have no reason to believe me. I have the proof by all means, but when it comes down to these spiritual topics, you have to try it for yourself. Experience is going to be your greatest teacher, because there are things that I've experienced that if I even try to put into words, it'll sound like static. It won't make sense. Or your mind will block you from understanding it. Your ego might come in and block you. It is why experience is the best teacher. So I'm giving you tools. Take those tools and go experience your life with these tools, because I want your life to be beautiful. I want it to be harmonious, because that means that my life will become more harmonious. So I'm kind of selfishly, if I'm being honest here, I'm selfishly giving you these tools. I'm selfishly giving you these tools because I know it's essentially good karma, and that good karma is going to come back to me. So that's kind of the reason I'm doing this. But I also want you to be peaceful. So it's a win-win. And it brings us one step closer to world peace because of it. So stay focused. Stay focused. Stay aware of what you're focusing on, because that thing you're focusing on, that thing that you're focusing on is going to create a chain reaction that will play out. It's the butterfly effect. So stay focused on the reality you desire, because it'll create that chain reaction in your life, because you are so much more powerful than you realize. So with that being said, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for coming to this. If you want to hear more, go check out my podcast. If you want to get updates on what I'll be speaking about in these IG lives, so you can come with your questions, click on my link in my bio, sign up for the newsletter, and I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you next Wednesday. Whew, that was a good one. Why don't we just jump into it? What's up, guys? We're just on the podcast now. So what did you guys think? I thought that was a pretty solid one. I think probably the biggest thing in there, I'm sitting on this, feeling out. I think the biggest thing maybe in there is going to be the idea of the biggest pushback that I probably feel through that whole thing is going to be the becoming of no thoughts and no emotions. And it's something that I've sat with a lot, because I do believe in learning about emotional intelligence. You need to think. But there's an Alan Watts quote, which is that it's a good tool, but we've become bad masters. And I truly believe that the world we live in is a symptom of being a mixture of overthinking and being over emotional. And I believe that if we're able to come into that divine present moment, we're going to find more peace. We're going to find more joy. We're going to find more happiness in our lives. And it'll create that butterfly effect. It'll create that ripple out where everyone will be happy. It's going to create a ripple effect, starting with you, where people will start following you. They'll start listening to what you have to say. You'll become more powerful, ironically, and then there's whole ego thing there, which is another podcast for itself. Someone put that on the list too. But the most powerful thing we can do is to become powerful ourselves. Because if you become powerful and you are spiritual and you have the best intentions for the world and you are calm and you are listening to your soul, then we are going to bring about world peace. And I kind of said it in the IG Live, but that's also another reason that I am sharing this knowledge, because I want world peace. World peace is my mission. It's my, like, if there's one thing, if I could give up everything and trade it in, it would be for world peace, for harmony, for unity, for us to stop the division that we see in our minds, see in our reality. And so I see this as being a piece of that bigger picture, to create world peace, to bring humanity into the next stage of our evolution. I mean, people talk about with technology, how we're this caterpillar, and technology is like a cocoon that's going to elevate us up into becoming a butterfly. And I think that's wrong. I think it can aid, but I think the true evolution, whether it's up to us to choose it, but if we truly want to elevate and be able to fly, we have to spiritually elevate. We have to become connected to our souls. And you have one. You have a soul. 100% you have a soul. It lives eternally. It's why people get upset, and get afraid of death, is because their soul's eternal, but the body is mortal. And so there's this confliction. There's a war that goes on in your mind, because you know that your soul is eternal, but you also know that your body is not. And this identification with believing that you're your body, that you're your thoughts, that you're your emotions, is what is keeping you in that mindset. So by becoming connected to your soul, knowing you live forever, you have a much greater outlook on life. You start to follow a higher purpose for yourself. And that's why if you can stay connected to your soul, to your inner eye, for 14 hours, 15, 16 hours every single day, and again, it takes practice. If you can do that every single day, we will have peace on earth in no time. Try it. Try one day. See if you can do it for one day. It's tough, man. It is. Especially if you've never done it before, it is difficult. But we have to do difficult things if we want to have a radical outcome. And that radical outcome, in my opinion, is world peace. We have to strive for it. We have to aim for it. We have to put our eyes on that being our vision, our North Star. And I think, so it's interesting. I do a lot of research in history and listening to, great men and women of our history that have forged the world that we live in today. And I think, again, going back to the selfish thing, I think the idea of a legacy leaves a much bigger imprint than money, because I can't take my money with me whenever I die. When I reincarnate, it all starts over again. So what is it that I want to leave? And I'm going to leave kids at some point. So I want to leave them a more purified world, a more beautiful world, a world where you can hug all the animals, where the lion lays down with the sheep. That's what I want to create. And honestly, money is just a vehicle to do it. It's just a vehicle. It comes, it goes. And here's the big thing too. We reincarnate. That's my belief. Maybe you don't believe it. That's fine. But with that being my belief, if I'm reincarnating on this planet, I want it to be better than when I left it. I want to be able to reincarnate into a better world than when I left. And to me, that's everything. So again, it's kind of selfish. I mean, I'll put it out there. I'm definitely being selfish. I selfishly want the best for you. I seriously do. I seriously want the best for everyone. I selfishly want the best for everyone. And that's the whole intention behind this podcast. That's the whole intention behind my IG Live videos. That's the intention behind it all. Behind the political party, by running for Congress. Because I selfishly want the best for everybody. I do. I seriously do. And if you don't believe me, that's 100% your choice. But we'll have a talk about it whenever I see you in the 6th dimension.